Hello YouTube, welcome to one of my projects, Ford wrench. We're going to restore it. We put it off and put it off. We decided we got gun blowing, that's what we're going to do with it. See that screw? You know how I got it loose? Propane torch with a pencil tip. I even heated up down there. The threads are up here. And one of my favorite oils to use, Marble Mister oil. Heat it, let it boil. Don't worry about catching on fire. There's only 2 or 3 drops there. Have your fire extinguisher, have a wet wash rag handy. Water spray bottle. It came loose. So I heated. You could watch it bubble. Heat it up, get it hot. You don't have to get it red hot. Get it hot, put the Marble Mister oil on there, and then you can put the heat on there again. But you can watch the rust bubble out of it. It was nasty. You'll see when I take the screw out how rusted it was. So stay tuned. Okay, we're going to do a lot of this without the tripod. It wasn't rust, I thought. There was rust bubble out, you can see it. I'm going to remember which way this went, okay? So it's like, see that end? See how this end is thinner? That wall to the left? So I'm going to put it in the same way. I figured this thing's over 100 years old. It's either Model A or Model T. It's painted with black paint. We're not going to try to perfect. We're not taking it to the belt sander and all that. We're just going to try to smooth it up really good, get it down to bare metal, and then just put some gun bluing on it. This is a night not to plug any tools. You know I always say I don't get paid. This came with a Husky screwdriver set. This is such a nice handle. And I can use the bits in my custom handle. Okay? And here's the bits. See the different size in there? Phillips and then the straight. 1/8, 5/36. You got to have that stuff. And of course you got your Torx. This came with a screwdriver set. Or separate. I don't know if you can buy it separate. But Home Depot. I will plug a good tool. I mean, these are good tools. I don't know where they're made, if it's Taiwan or China, but you know, I've never used this that I can remember. Hardly ever use it. Because I take these bits out and I use them in a 1/4 inch socket with a ratchet on different stuff and extensions and things like that. So I've hardly ever used the handle. So enough of that. Like I said, that's all you gotta do, and then this comes off. Very simple. You ever watch Scout Crafter? Anyway, you can type in. I'm hooked on watching him, the tools he does. I'll give him a shameless plug. He's a bigger, well, he's not a real big channel, but he gets more views than I get on stuff. It's neat, the stuff he does. Yeah, this ain't gonna be perfect. We'll get all the rust out of there. So we're not gonna take all that stuff out of there. But, I mean, this was in a box of rusted wrenches that had water and stuff in it. I'd sold all the wrenches off. Just oddball like tractor, and I kept this. Use this on bicycles, the nut for your sprocket and on the neck. So it is a handy wrench to have for automotive use. There's going to be a nut that sometimes you can't get. I'm trying to think. 3/4 ton rear end's got that nut holds the bearing. So you got to find a nut in automotive truck use that you might want this nice big wrench. It opens up to about approximately maybe 2 2 1/4 inches, not quite 2.5. So it has its use to have in your mechanic toolbox. So if you find this stuff that's usable like this in some secondhand stores, don't pass up one. They are kind of spendy. I've seen these things pretty spendy at them stores, $25, $30, and they're always bent. Crappy. And there's no bend in this one. We'll take some pictures of the manufacturer. They were made all by different companies. So stay tuned. This is going to be too long a video. We're just showing you now, and then we'll come back real quick and show you what it looks like in bare metal. Then we'll put the gun blowing stuff on today. So stay tuned. Hope you're interested in seeing what it's going to look like when it's done. Said nothing special. Get it down to bare metal again, because this is paint on here, and just put the gun blowing stuff on it. I'm not even going to worry about really getting that smooth. It's just to preserve the tool, because I like using my tools. Go on that rant. I don't know an antique tool that I don't use once in a while. I just don't want it unless I can use it. That's the fun. Okay, we're trying to keep our hands clean. see these leather gloves? They're just goat skin. They're not insulated or nothing, but they will get hot using this on metal. Don't be afraid to get in there like the edge like this when you don't have no writing. On that side, I don't care. I mean, I still got in there, but that's why you can see where it wore. I wore about 1/8 of an inch off, about a 1/4 inch total, off a 3/8 wheel. Cheapy stuff from Harbor Freight. Man, we're plugging tools today. I don't get paid. No, I like sharing what works when I find good tools. Okay, here comes the part. I'm sounding like I can't copy Scout Crafter. Here comes that part, though. I learned you got to decide. Do I want to go full out? You ain't gonna be able to go full out on this thing. It's too old and beat up. Let's get this off separate. That's how aggressive that abrasive wheel is. I mean, I can take a flapper disc, or I have a belt sander. I got my big belt sander. I'm not going to do that. I've got it down to where there's no rust in there. We're going to have a little bit of rust in a few spots, maybe down in here. We'll be taking the Dremel wire brushes to the grooves and that stuff. I already took the wire brush to it. Just those cheap wire brushes. This one's about shot. I shouldn't be using it. I use it on car rims, stuff flying all over the yard. Is this the DeWalt? Yeah, I gave $10 for this one time. I was desperate to do my rims. I've probably done like 4 rims with that, and who knows what. They're bound to wear that and it'll last longer than Harbor Freight ones. Anyway, I'm still trying not to laugh. Any old guys remember that song, Indiana Wants Me? Lord, I can't go back there. At the end, this is the place. You're surrounded. Give yourself up. Yeah. The police sirens. I had that record when I was a kid. I just got such a kick out of that. So you can tell how old I am. Don't tell how old you are. Don't tell me that. Yeah, I remember that. I played the record when I was a kid. We're just going so far off topic. We're rambling. I'm not going to say who I know. There's a few people who ramble in their videos, and we enjoy it because we're us old guys. We don't need this. Okay, here's our store because like the TV. It's done. No. This will look good with bluing on it. It said, be careful, there's some things. Don't use latex gloves. I mean, I started out with latex gloves with the wire brush to do this. So I thought I'd be real careful. Yeah, right. I snagged my, so I went ahead and put on my leather ones. I'd rather rip into these. You can tell how abused these are. They've been used for firewood and everything else, for the wood stove, more than ever for a torch. Don't use these for a torch. I have insulated ones. I will MIG weld with them on though. So they're goat skin, they're real thin. There you go. Next time you see it, it'll be blued. This is going to be a long video just because me rambling on, but I'll maybe do a little more on here. See how I kind of got it smoother here on this side. It's not been beat on, used for a hammer. That's why I kept showing you. Look how good that closes. This is a workable tool. Oh, this. Use like wire brush only. Don't get rid of that. One side's already wore. I use wire brush only. Don't get rid of your Ford logo. And before we get done, this is Moore Brothers Drop Forging Company, Springfield, Mass. I'm sure I'll take a picture of it. Okay, let's talk more work. When you see it again, it'll be all blued and done. Blued, and I may show it to you before I oil it. So I may come back and show it with the bluing on it, which is black, and then show it with oil. So stay tuned. If you've been here this long, I hope you stay for the rest. Okay, this is what it looks like without oil. It doesn't look the greatest. I said, if you miss any rust, it'll come back up. We're going to oil it. It doesn't look much better than the paint was on it, but it's better than paint because now we'll just keep it oiled. And we did take it apart and service it, clean it. So, let's oil it. We'll see what it looks like. We're just going to put plain old motor oil on it. A lot of the stuff lays in my toolbox. Things like WD-40 and things like that, it's not as good as what you think it is. I know motor oil works good on a lot of stuff, well, I'm going to store it. In fact, I used that on my pistol I worked on. I just oiled the barrel with it. Okay, we'll be back. We'll put some regular oil on it, put it all together. Okay, we're oiled. It's not a pretty thing, but it is. I am happy. It is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to look old, not be so rusty. Got rid of some of that really rough where it was really deep pitted, and get rid of that paint that was on there. So, but I cleaned this up just with a wire brush on a grinder and threw some oil on, so it had never been apart before or nothing. But I'd say that might move a little faster. It's not bad. Like I said, it is a good wrench to have in your mechanic's toolbox. It comes in handy. You might come across some big nut on something. You can be out in the middle of nowhere. Spindle nut on your front wheel bearings or anything on a car. I mean, that's what it was for. The Model A, Model T had this bearing cap, and it was probably about that big of a wrench that it took on there, about like that size, over 1.5 inches. There you go. We're happy with it. It took several times to put that stuff on, and don't be afraid to hold it in your gloved hand, put that bluing on a wrench. I wouldn't do it on a rifle, but something like this, don't be afraid to, you got a glove protector, don't be afraid, it's not going to rub off. You can just keep slathering it. I used a Q-tip, you can use a little paintbrush, but do not pour the stuff back in the bottle when you're done with it. I leave it set here on the desk. I've used it for other small bolts and screws. It does get contaminated when it sits around there after it's been used. So if you're going to use it on something like a bolt or something that don't matter, I mean, if it's set, you can have a container to put used stuff in and use on just some bolt. That's what I'm trying to say. There you go. Thanks for watching. We'll try to get a good picture of this so you can read that. So like I said, we're happy. I hope you're happy. It's just a nice old wrench. It's cleaned up now, oiled. It might look like paint, but it's not really paint. So we all know it's not paint. So that's the main thing. If we had enough of this, we're out of here.